In the grand scheme of things, these small actions add up. Each time you choose to do good, you strengthen your character. Each time you stand up for what's right, you make the world a little better. And over time, these small actions create a ripple effect, inspiring others to do the same. The Stoics didn't just avoid doing wrong, they actively pursued goodness. They understood that living a virtuous life means more than just refraining from bad behavior. It means seeking out opportunities to do good, to help others, and to make the world a better place. So the next time you're faced with a situation where someone is behaving poorly, ask yourself, what can I do to make this better? Whether it's speaking up, stepping in, or simply offering kindness, your actions have the power to make a difference. And by choosing to act, you're not just avoiding wrongdoing, you're actively pursuing the good. Let me know if you'd like even more details, examples, or a different direction. Choosing your words wisely, the Stoic approach to communication. The Stoics emphasize not just the importance of silence, but also the importance of speaking wisely when you do choose to speak. As Marcus Aurelius suggested, only say what you believe is just, and always do so with kindness, humility, and sincerity. This means that when we do decide to speak, our words should serve a purpose. We should speak not to fill silence, but to offer something meaningful, whether that's to educate, to comfort, or to inspire. Think about your everyday conversations. How often do you find yourself talking about trivial things just to pass the time, gossiping about others, complaining about minor inconveniences? The Stoics warned against such frivolous use of speech. Marcus Aurelius noted that we should avoid conversations about gladiators, horse races, sporting events, food, or drink, as these were distractions from meaningful dialogue. The equivalent today might be endless debates about celebrities, idle gossip about co-workers, or trivial arguments over who is right about a minor issue. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, advised us to steer clear of these conversations, noting that talking about other people, particularly in a negative light, only poisons our own minds. Avoid discussing others. Do not praise, blame, or compare them, he said. This advice is more relevant now than ever, in an age where social media platforms are filled with constant commentary on the lives of others. The next time you find yourself tempted to join a conversation about someone else's flaws or mistakes, consider Seneca's advice. By refraining from gossip and focusing on our own actions and values, we cultivate a sense of inner peace and avoid unnecessary conflicts. The danger of talking too much. Less is more. One of the greatest challenges in modern conversation is that we often talk more than we need to. Whether it's filling the silence in a meeting, oversharing with a friend, or simply rambling, talking too much can dilute the value of what we have to say. The Stoics understood this and taught that we should speak only when our words add value. Epictetus cautioned, "Do not dwell on your deeds or adventures too much." In other words, just because you find your own stories interesting doesn't mean others do. When we talk too much about ourselves, about our accomplishments, our struggles, our lives, we risk coming across as self-absorbed or boastful. Instead, the Stoics encourage us to focus on the quality of our speech rather than the quantity. A useful exercise to practice is to become mindful of how often you speak about yourself in conversations. The next time you're talking to a friend or colleague, try to notice how often you bring the conversation back to your own experiences. This doesn't mean you should never share your thoughts or feelings, but it's important to balance that with active listening and genuine interest in the other person's perspective. Gossip, a poison for the mind and soul. One of the most dangerous uses of speech, according to the Stoics, is gossip. It's easy to fall into the trap of discussing other people's lives, especially when it seems harmless or entertaining. But gossip is a slippery slope that can lead to resentment, conflict, and negativity. Seneca warned against gossiping, noting that it is a form of idle talk that distracts us from our own self-improvement. Do not discuss others, he said. Do not praise, blame, or compare them. Gossiping about others not only harms their reputation, but also reflects poorly on your own character. Imagine you're at a social gathering, and the conversation turns to criticizing a colleague. It might feel good in the moment to join in and share your grievances, but afterward, how do you feel? Often, gossip leaves us feeling drained and uncomfortable, because deep down, we know it's not a productive use of our time or energy. Instead of gossiping, the Stoics advise us to focus on our own actions and behavior. If you find yourself in a conversation that's turning negative, try to steer it in a more positive direction. Ask yourself, is this conversation helping me grow? Is it benefiting anyone? If the answer is no, it's better to stay silent. The art of listening, a skill to be mastered. One of the most underrated skills in communication is the ability to listen. True listening requires more than just hearing the words someone is saying. It involves understanding their meaning, empathizing with their perspective, and responding thoughtfully. The Stoics believed that listening was a critical part of personal growth because it allowed us to learn from others and see the world through different eyes. When you listen carefully to others, you create an opportunity for deeper connection. You show respect and empathy, which strengthens relationships and builds trust. On the other hand, when you dominate the conversation with your own thoughts and opinions, you miss the chance to truly engage with the other person. The next time you're in a conversation, try to focus entirely on listening. Resist the urge to interrupt or jump in with your own story. Instead, ask questions that show you're genuinely interested in what the other person has to say. You might be surprised at how much you can learn when you let others speak. Actions speak louder than words, the Stoic way. Finally, the Stoics believed that actions speak louder than words. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that it's not enough to talk about doing good, we must actually do it. Let your actions show your values, he said. This principle is especially important in today's world, where people often make grand statements or promises, but fail to follow through. It's easy to talk about our goals, our values, and our aspirations, but how often do we take real steps toward achieving them? The Stoics encouraged us to focus less on what we say and more on what we do. Instead of talking about the changes you want to make in your life, start taking action today. Your actions will speak for themselves. Conclusion: speak only when necessary and choose words wisely. In conclusion, the Stoics offer timeless wisdom on the power of silence and the careful use of words. By speaking less and listening more, we can cultivate inner peace, build stronger relationships, and make more thoughtful decisions. Remember, words have power, and how we use them matters. The next time you're tempted to fill a silence with idle chatter or to gossip about someone else, pause and ask yourself, is this necessary? Does it add value? If not, consider staying silent. As the Stoics teach us, sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all.